Hello and welcome to Indus News live from Islamabad. I'm Naila Shuja and these are the headlines. The World Health Organization chief Tedros Ghebreyesus has self-isolated after coming in contact with a COVID-19 carrier. India has reported 496 deaths and over 45,000 cases overnight as the country's caseload topped 8.2 million. In Pakistan, the virus has claimed 12 more lives overnight, pushing the death toll to 6,835. The global death count from the pandemic has topped 1.2 million, with more than 46 million cases. Azerbaijan says Armenian forces have targeted civilian areas in the Bakhtam and Akhbidi regions with artillery and missiles. The Azeri Defense Ministry says its forces destroyed a large number of weapons of the Armenian forces in retaliatory raids. Over 1,100 people have been killed since the fighting started on September 27th. Pakistan has rejected the Indian Foreign Ministry's reaction over its decision to grant Gilgit-Baltistan the provisional provincial status. Pakistan's Foreign Office said the move fulfilled the long-standing demands of the people of the region. It said India has no right to comment on the issue and its propaganda can't change historical facts. It's also told New Delhi to end the occupation of Jammu and Kashmir and give Kashmiris their right to self-determination. The death toll from the earthquake in western Turkey has risen to 79, with over 200 still injured under treatment. Rescuers say a 3-year-old girl has been rescued from the rubble 65 hours after the earthquake jolted the Izmir city. Turkey's disaster management body says over 1,000 aftershocks have hit the area. For news in detail, stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. The World Health Organization chief Tedros Ghebreyesus has self-isolated after coming in contact with a COVID-19 carrier. The global death count from the pandemic has topped 1.2 million, with more than 46 million cases. More in this report.
The coronavirus pandemic continues to rage globally, restricting movements, dwindling hopes and stunting economies. Nations across Europe are introducing blanket curbs as the region with 10% of the world's population accounts for 22% of the cases. In Latin America, Mexico is fast becoming the 5th regional country to hit the 1 million infections mark. In Brazil's Sao Paulo, hundreds of anti-vaxxers protested against government plans to make a Chinese coronavirus vaccine mandatory.
Sao Paulo's governor wants to deploy a compulsory vaccine against our will. This doesn't exist in any place of the world. Not even in China is this vaccine compulsory for people. The director of World Health Organization has stated that giving this vaccine to the whole population in an authoritarian way does not work. This can't happen.
Over in Asia, India has reported 496 deaths and over 45,000 cases overnight as the country's caseload topped 8.2 million. India's festival season has been marred by crowds ignoring the dangers of coronavirus. People have been flocking to popular sites, forgetting the SOPs and undoing months of restrictions to fight the pandemic.
Everything will happen as per Shiva's wish. Residents of Varanasi drink the water of holy Ganges river and they lead their lives on their own terms. The level of awareness that the government has shown regarding coronavirus, people of Varanasi are not showing the same awareness.
Elsewhere, South Korea has launched a new 5-stage social distancing scheme after the previous one was criticized as extremely vague.
In Pakistan, 12 people have died from the COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The health ministry says that the country's death toll has risen to 6,835. The ministry said there are over 13,000 active COVID-19 cases in the country. It said out of over 335,000 countrywide cases, more than 315,000 have recovered so far. The ministry said over 146,000 cases have been detected in the Sindh province, while the Punjab has reported over 104,000 cases. In the capital Islamabad, more than 20,000 have been infected so far. The United Nations Children Fund has lauded Pakistan's measures to ease the socio-economic impact of COVID-19. In an interview, UNICEF representative in Pakistan, Ida Grima, also praised the Clean Green Index initiative. She called it a crucial step towards raising standards of cleanliness and ensuring a sustainable environment. Grima added a healthy environment is imperative to nurture a healthy society. The UNICEF representative said that the agency will continue to work with Islamabad to carry forward the initiative. Pakistan has rejected India's statement in response to Islamabad's decision to grant Gilgit-Baltistan provincial status. Pakistan's Foreign Office said that the move fulfilled the long-standing demands of the people of the region. It said New Delhi has no right to comment on the issue and its propaganda can't change historical facts. It also told India to end its occupation of Jammu and Kashmir and give Kashmiris their right to self-determination. This comes after Prime Minister Imran Khan announced the change to the regional status during his 73rd Independence Day parade. Azerbaijan says that Armenian forces have targeted civilian areas in the Aghdam and Aghjibadi regions with artillery and missiles. The Azeri Defense Ministry says its forces destroyed a large number of weapons of Armenian forces in retaliatory raids. It added that military positions in the Ghazakh, Tovuz, and Dashkistan regions are also under fire from Armenian territory. Earlier, Turkey's defense ministry says Azerbaijan has also so far liberated 193 settlements from Armenian occupation. Over 1,100 people have been killed since the fighting over the Nagorno-Karabakh region broke out on the September of 27th. Greece has urged Turkey to rescind a naval advisory announcing hydrocarbon exploration activity in the Mediterranean. In a statement, the foreign ministry said that the area Ankara has covered includes Greek continental shelf. Athens said that the area of the contention is a few miles from the Greek islands of Rhodes and Castel do Rosso. Foreign Minister Nikos Dinadis said that Athens condemns what he called delinquent behavior. He said Athens is preparing an official diplomatic protest and will inform EU partners and allies on the issue. The earthquake in western Turkey has risen 79 with over 200 injured still under treatment. The death toll from the earthquake in western Turkey has risen to 79 with over 200 injured still under treatment. Rescuers say a 3-year-old girl has been rescued from the rubble 65 hours after the earthquake jolted the Izmir city. Earlier, a 14-year-old girl was rescued from the debris after 58 hours. Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Authority said search and rescue activities are underway. The authority added that more than 1,100 aftershocks have hit the area, 43 of them above magnitude 4. It said 962 people were injured and 743 of them have been discharged from hospitals. In France, police have released 3 suspects arrested in the connection to the knife attack in a church in Nice. 3 people, including 2 women, were killed in the attack. State media said 3 male suspects were released after it was established they had no link with the attacker. It said 3 others still remain under custody. Nice Mayor Christian Estrosi said around 120 police officers along with 60 soldiers have been deployed to guard churches. The 21-year-old Tunisian accused of the attack is under treatment at a hospital after being shot by the police. The United States Commerce Department says it will vigorously defend the executive order barring TikTok from operating in the country. This comes after a district judge blocked the Commerce Department's order of blanket ban set to take effect on the 12th of November. U.S. President Donald Trump declared TikTok a national security concern. The district judge termed the government's descriptions of national security threat as hypothetically phrased. A hearing is set to take place on Wednesday on other aspects of Commerce Department order that were blocked. Talks to finalize a deal for Walmart and Oracle Corp to own U.S. stakes in TikTok Global are ongoing. Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage says he will relaunch the group as anti-lockdown party called Reform UK. In an opinion piece, Farage said that the party will focus on fighting government's anti-coronavirus measures. Farage stated that a new party will back a policy of focused protection from the coronavirus for only the most vulnerable. He explained his party's agenda to be allowed to rest of the population to develop herd immunity. The leader said papers seeking the name change have been submitted to the Electoral Commission. Earlier, Prime Minister Boris Johnson ordered national lockdown in England after the country's COVID-19 cases topped 1 million. In Belarus, tens of thousands of Belarusians marched through Minsk to demand President Alexander Lukashenko to leave power. Riot police fired warning shots into the air, used stun grenades, and arrested more than 200 people in protests. Large crowds headed towards Kuropatki, a memorial to victims of execution by Soviet secret police on outskirts of the capital. Mobile phone internet was unavailable, and several metro stations were briefly closed down. Earlier, President Lukashenko signaled that he was ready to crack down on demonstrators. He said any protesters who lay a hand on police officers policing the protest should at least leave without hands. Mass protests have flooded the capital for 12 straight weeks since a disputed election. Exiled United States whistleblower Edward Snowden says he has applied for Russian citizenship but will keep his United States nationality. In a tweet, Snowden says he and his wife don't wish to be separated from their son. The whistleblower says he will teach his son the importance of freedom of speech, among other American values. Snowden's tweet comes weeks after he was granted permanent residency in the country, and days after his partner Lindsay Mills announced she was pregnant. Former CIA and NSA contractor turned whistleblower published the evidence on mass surveillance operations by U.S. intelligence. U.S. President Donald Trump recently said that he will consider pardoning Snowden, but made no effort to comment. It's time for a short break. Please stay tuned with us. Welcome back. In the Philippines, the death toll from the typhoon GONI has risen to 16, while 3 people are still missing. More than 300 houses have been buried under volcanic rocks on the Luz Island. Storm hit some coastal towns with 217 kilometers per hour winds, while rivers overflowed and dikes were destroyed, submerging several villages in the Bicol. Typhoon GONI weakened further after making landfall in the Quezon and Batangas provinces before heading towards the South China Sea. GONI is one of the strongest storms to hit the Philippines since Haiyan, which killed over 6,300 people in 2013. The International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists is being marked today. The United Nations Recognized Day draws attention to the low global conviction rate for crimes against media persons. The UN report says around 1,200 journalists have been killed in the past 14 years. The report says 9 out of 10 murders of journalists go unpunished. In his message, UN Chief Antonio Guterres says society as a whole pay the price when journalists are targeted. Guterres asserts an important defense against the pandemic of misinformation is lost when journalists cannot do their jobs in safety. In China, the first integrated testing base for intelligent vehicles has been put into use in the Jiangsu province. The facility will provide more accurate tests for auto-driving vehicles to promote the development of the industry. It has several testing fields to stimulate the possible situations intelligent vehicles may come across on the road. It will provide third-party authoritative testing and certification to address key issues of accident responsibility identification. The facility will also work on network security in the development and application of China's automatic driving vehicles. The popular and spooky legend of La Llorona came to life in Mexico City for a Day of the Dead tradition. La Llorona, or the Crying Woman, is a popular ghost story in Mexico and other parts of Latin America. More in this report.
Day of the Dead began as a traditional Mesoamerican celebration in Mexico meant to guide the spirits of departed loved ones in the afterlife. Mexico has celebrated the day, bringing the legend of La Llorona to the public in a spectacular show. She is a spectral figure dressed in white who cries out in search for her children. Both spectators and actors said the show took on a new meaning this year. It recounts the heartbreak of not being able to say goodbye to the lost loved ones to the coronavirus.
This is something that I think many of us have lived through during these times. That we didn't have a chance to at least see them, to send them off with a last kiss, to send them off with all the rites that are important for us, to say goodbye with music, with the foods that they liked.
Upon arriving to the show, attendees had their temperature checked. The show La Llorona, A Longing for Goodbye, was the 27th year in a row the play has been performed among the canals of Mexico City. The show reminded spectators of how important it is to be among loved ones and how it feels when they are lost.
The people who are dying, the people who are being taken away from us, and how we often don't have the chance to say goodbye and show what we feel for those people. And I think that's what the show reflected, the powerlessness, helplessness caused by not being able to say goodbye to the people we love.
Mexico has the world's fourth highest official death toll from COVID-19 with over 90,000 fatalities.
Most stocks in Asia Pacific have risen after data showed China's manufacturing activity growing in October. The Shenzhen component has gained about 1%. The Shanghai composite has recovered after shedding 0.5%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index edged higher by nearly 1%. Meanwhile, shares in Japan lead gains as the new Nikkei 225 grew nearly 1.5%, while the Topix Index jumped nearly 2%. South Korea's Kospi added over 1%. Shares in Australia advanced with the ASX 200 trading nearly 0.5% higher. In the Italian Series A, Juventus beat Cipisa Calcio 4-1 as Cristiano Ronaldo made a comeback after recovering from COVID-19. Juventus scored 3 times in 20 minutes after Ronaldo's arrival on the field in the 56th minute. Alvaro Morata gave Juventus the lead in the 14th minute, sweeping home Weston McKennie's cross. In the 59th minute, Morata slipped the ball through to Ronaldo, who slotted it past Cipisa's goalkeeper Ivan Pruvdel. 8 minutes later, Adrian Rabiot scored the 3rd goal for Juventus, squeezing a cheeky shot inside the post. Ronaldo scored his 2nd goal in the 73rd minute with a Pinaka-style penalty. Juventus moved to 3rd place on the table with 12 points, 4 behind leaders AC Milan. And now it's time to take a look at the weather around the world. For the latest news updates, you can follow us on our social media at indus.news.